Hey everybody, it's Linda with Ink Stamp and Scrap. Let me bring myself in here. There we go. All right. Hi, it's nice to see everybody. Happy Wednesday. We are going to make a bunch of holiday cards today. But first, I have some exciting news that I just read about and I want to share with you. Tomorrow, Stampin' Up! Has announced a 24-hour sale on all stamps. So if there's anything on your wish list that is a stamp, I highly recommend you get online tomorrow and place an order with me. The hostess code will be posted in the description below, as well as, hi, Rebecca. Hey, Kathy, um, as well as on the blog post and on Facebook, so that it'll be really easy for you to use. If you just go to my website, inkstampandscrap.com, you always find the current hostess code on the right-hand side, very close to the top. So it's pretty easy to use that to place your order. If you do forget or you can't find it, I can add it to your order later. So it's really okay if you forget it. I just really appreciate you choosing me as your demonstrator. Tomorrow, all stamps are 15% off. So if there is anything on your wish list, this is a great opportunity to clear the stamps off of that before we get into the end of the holiday catalog and the midway point on our annual catalog. So I didn't want to, I read all, so I can double check. I will be happy to do that, but I'm going to get started first. So let me, hey, let me see. Maybe I'm missing the details. I read it quick yesterday. I was pretty excited about it. So, hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining us. All right. So today, as advertised, we are going to do a bunch of holiday cards. I have a few to show you and a couple to make. I have a lot of tips to give you on mass producing. If you want more tips and tricks and ideas on mass producing, I would highly recommend that you double back to last week's video. I will make sure to link it in the show notes along with the additional video that went up because we had a little technical difficulty on my end, but that has all been resolved. And in fact, I've been looking into a couple of new tools. Not that I'm going to get rid of the one I have, I'm just getting used to it, but I have something that might enhance it and make some of you much more happy. The schedule ahead is, oh, okay. Thanks, Sue. I the schedule ahead is as follows. We are going to visit family next week. So next week there will be a YouTube video at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. It has been a highly requested video, so I hope that it meets your needs. It will definitely satisfy some of your holiday project making and your card making, kind of a combo. Not going to give away too much more, but it's going to be really great. And you can watch that next Tuesday at 2 o'clock, and then I will be back live the following Tuesday with even more fun stuff for the holidays. If you are not on my email list right now, please make sure that you are so that you can get my Friday 12 week of Christmas tutorials that have been going strong since the first week of October. I've been getting really great feedback from all of you. I know you're really enjoying them, and I'm happy to do them for you. So without further ado, hi, Deborah. Nice of you to join us. Let me bring up the down camera for today. There we go. All right, so this is my nod. Let me bring this a little closer. This is my nod to my new holiday residence, Florida. So this is one of the bundles we are going to use today. This is the bundle called Christmas to Remember. It's got a bunch of greetings and it's got some really fun pine cone dies. I did this in totally Florida colors. It's on a petal pink card with Flirty Flamingo and Bermuda Bay cardstock, and then I used Coastal Cabana ink just to lighten it up a little bit. We are going to use this cord right here, so I'll show you more with that. But I just had some fun pulling some Florida colors and experimenting with a Florida holiday card. So that is card number 1 for the day. I wanted to share with you that you don't always have to trim stuff off. This will still fit in the envelope because it's less than an 1/8 inch over the border, and you have that much room when you're sliding things in an envelope. So sometimes it's kind of fun to just go a little bit off the edge. But let me show you how to put a card very similar to this together, and we'll talk about mass producing tips as we're going. Hey, Alice, thank you. Thanks for joining us. All right, let me grab the cards, the first card that we're going to make. So we're going to make a card similar to this one to start. We're going to change up the colors a little bit, and I'm going to give you some tips and tricks. But one of the things I want to contrast here is that you'll see You can, for mass producing, I mean, this is a lot of die cutting just to do these two, and we'll walk through it together. This is another die cut. If you don't want to do that, use a punch or just do basic rectangles and squares. My tip for you on doing the basic rectangles and squares is stamp the greeting in any color you want just to get a measurement of it. And then you know what this layer is. This layering right here is a 1/4 inch layering. And then if you want a more narrow matting, you can go 1/8 of an inch. And what do I mean by that? This white piece of paper is 2 by 1 3/4. So I just went up by a 1/4 inch on each of the other two layers. I could have gone up by just 1/8 of an inch to give a smaller border. That's a really easy way to do mass production. I know I love the dies, they look gorgeous, but they do take some time. And if you're looking to cut corners and save time, sometimes rectangles are easier to do. All right, so that's my tip for this one. My other tip that I know I've given you lots of times, and it doesn't even just happen for mass production. Hi, Jenny, is to save on your maybe wasted cardstock if things really get messed up. I highly recommend that you do all of your creating of your card on a 1/4 sheet of cardstock. It could be cut down a little bit like this one is. It could even just be 1/8 of an inch off. This one's a 1/4 inch off. But this way, if things really go awry, you're only throwing out that 1/4 inch card base and or card layer and not an entire card like this. So that's my other, it's always a tip for any card, but definitely important when you're doing mass producing. So you'll see both the cards that I'm going to make today take advantage of that 1/4 sheet on top so that if things go awry, I've only lost the 1/4 sheet, not the entire card base. All right, let's set these two aside. I told you I'm going to make that holiday card, but what we're going to do is mix it up a little bit. I'm going to do crumb cake instead to give it a little more of a country look. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. Anyway, so this is what we're going to use. We're still going to use the same greeting. So we have, and we're going to use a colored card this time. Sorry, I forgot I switched that up as well. So we are going to use a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Mary Merlot cardstock. I scored it at 4 1/4. I'm folding it in half. I'm opening my magic drawer that has all my tools, and we're going to just burnish that. I'm going to burnish it on both sides since it's regular cardstock and not the basic white, which is just a little less in weight. And we're going to use this for the front. You can see sometimes I'm a little bit off, but that's okay. This side's going to be the back, and no one will ever see that. All right, so obviously, I already die cut these, but this is my first mass production trick. If I can unhook these. This is not this is not white cardstock. This is an adhesive sheet. If you are going to do a lot of intricate dies and you're going to mass produce these cards, um, then I can't emphasize enough how much of a friend the adhesive sheets will be, because then it's just so much easier to attach your dies together. And I see that I missed a couple of the nibs here. So we're going to take care of that now because it'll be kind of a pain later on. So there's one. Oh, come on. Let me see the comments while I'm doing this. Oh, yes. For those of you that are new to my channel, please click that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you know when I post a new video. And if you would kindly give this video a thumbs up while you are in the chat with me, I would greatly appreciate it because YouTube will show this to more people and we can grow our community way faster. All right, I'm glad you guys like the crumb cake. I just thought it was a neat variation. So this is why I love adhesive sheets, because now the adhesive is just on the die. I don't have to mess with this intricate die. I don't have to mess with any kind of glue. I've shown you in the past tips for getting liquid glue on something this intricate, but it takes a lot. It takes a long time to do, and this is just so much easier. It is cardstock, so I'm going to be, and these are really thin, so I'm just taking my time walking the adhesive sheet down and off. So and then once I'm rid of that, I'm going to flip it over. Sorry, I'm going so high in the camera there. All right, and then what you can see in this die is that you've got the pine cones kind of marked in a group. So you got a 2 and a 3. So what I'm going to look at is here I have 3 here and I have 2 down here. So I'm going to turn this around so that everything lines up. So you just want to look for somewhere that things line up. The other thing I am going to grab, just in case I miss a little bit, maybe not. No, I'll grab this. Oh, there it is. Nope, I'll grab this. I was looking for my silicone sheet, but this will work in this case. I just didn't want to stick to the camera mat down there. All right, so now I'm going to do this while standing above and hopefully keeping my head out of the camera. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of go for lining up that corner there. So I'm watching the pine, the pine stems, if you will, like this part here, and the pine cone. And then I'm going to get those pine cones. And then we're just like we did when we took the adhesive sheet off, we're just going to kind of walk this around. One thing I learned while playing with these dies is that it's kind of like when there's a two-step stamp or a layered stamp set. It doesn't match 100%, but that's a good thing because then you don't have to match it 100%. It just kind of goes. It's an approximate match. We'll put it, that's the Linda term for it. It's an approximate match, which makes it easier to line things up. So I'm just kind of walking around here and making sure that when I lay this down, it's, oh, this is a little off. So I'm not pushing really hard because I want to be able to do things like what I'm doing right now. I want to be able to pull it back up. We'll take the bone folder and really secure it well once I'm happy with how everything laid down. So you just keep kind of working it around and you can see it's not perfect, but it's close enough. And you want to be able to see both colors. So now what I'm going to do is carefully, because if I pull this back, it's going to flip these. So I don't want to do that. I just want to kind of, I might even walk it around like this. Sorry if that's shaking the camera. There we go. All right. And it does stick just a little bit, but not enough to damage it. All right. So then the other thing that's great about this set of dies that I really liked is that when you get to the side that you need to put adhesive on, you have a lot of solid space in order to add it to a layer on your card. So that's what we're going to do now. So I have a quarter sheet. I have a 4 by 5 1/4 of crumb cake, and it's going to go behind the die because if I did it on the Merlot card, that's way too much. And it doesn't really, it gives it some depth, but it doesn't do this whole die justice at all. And then if I put it on here and this was the card, that would be really cool. But again, I'm breaking my own rule in that I'm not using a quarter sheet as the base. So we're going to put it right on this one. You can see it fits really nice. I am going to go ahead and trim around it just to make sure, just to show you. But first, let's get some glue on here and get this down. We're going to set it aside and let it dry while we do our greeting. All right, so I'm going to just put, the first thing I'm going to do is put glue on all of the big solid pine cone areas. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't send a Christmas card to anyone, except maybe my stamping friends, who knows, that's going to actually try and pull this apart. So I'm not going to worry about getting glue absolutely everywhere. I'm going to get glue where there's a fair amount of cardstock. And there's a fair amount of cardstock as far as the pines are concerned. The fair amount of cardstock is right up the middle. So I'm not going to worry about the little branches. I'm just going to get cardstock. I'm just going to get glue where I have the most that I can attach to. And then we're going to, oh, I missed the middle where I was holding my thumb. I do want that. And the other thing is that the green layers over, so it makes it a little bit thicker where you can do this. My voice is going in and out. Oh, sorry. I think it's because I'm moving away. I'm not sure. Let me know. I'm holding still now. Let me know if that seems better. Okay. So now we're going to, actually, I'm going to grab this again. I'm not sure where my silicone mat is. All right, because I can see just a little bit of glue peeking through, but when it dries, it will dry clear. So how, that looks really cool now because it really pops on the a two-step die. Yep, I'm just looking at the comments here. Voice is fine. Okay, good. Yeah, I love this double. I love this double die. And let me show you. I should have done this at the beginning, but let me show you. So this is Christmas to remember. You get all of these greetings, which is awesome. So plenty for inside and outside the card. And then you get the layering pine cone boughs, I guess is the right way to say it. And then you also get these extra pine cones. And I did have a project I was going to do, and to be perfectly honest with the pine cones, but this one ended up at the bottom of my trash for quite a while and took me a long time to find. And I didn't have time to redo all the project that I had started and didn't like. So started a project, didn't like it, and in cleaning up, this landed in the trash can. So didn't have the ability to recreate it for you. So I will try and do that for a future blog post. But just wanted to let you know, it's not that I don't like the pine cones. I just didn't have access to them for a while. All right, so I'm going to set these two layers aside. Let that glue get completely dry. Let's stamp our greeting and get that all together and tie our little bow. I have a glue dot tip for you that I actually gave in the extra video that I had to create last week. So if you haven't gotten a chance to see that, I would recommend that you do that. I got cut off very unceremoniously last week. And so I made a quick video on Wednesday morning, finishing off the project that I wasn't able to complete. Oh, and I did see in the comments on that one, a couple of you were asking, what was I asking for? Would I leave I think I said leave a comment, and then you didn't know what I was asking for. I am happy to kind of compile all of my mass production tips into a guide for you if you think that would be a handy download to have. So just leave a comment on this video if you would like me to do that, and I will get working on it. Okay. Oh, there it is. All right. So we have our greeting and we're going to layer it up this way. I also very intentionally ordered the layers this way because since the green is on top, if I had the green on the bottom, this just kind of disappears. So you need that red to break it up. I also like when the ink color matches the first mat. That's just a preference on my part, but I thought I'd pass that on. Where are my magnetic sheets from? My magnetic sheets are from Stamp and Storage. And Rebecca, I will make a note to link that below. So that you can shop to your heart's content. I have a lot of Stamp and Storage. There's another video on my channel that goes on a tour of my craft room, and it also shows off not only the magnetic sheets, I think I show them in there, but anyway, I have a lot of storage from them that I use for my cardstock and my dies and my ink pads, markers, and re-inkers, and also my last thing. Oh, punches. That's the last thing. All right. So there we go. We have this one. And then I'm going to put this on dimensionals, and then we'll add a ribbon. Or add some, I'm going to add gold cording to this one. I don't think silver and crumb cake go together as well. So like I am on the white one. So I am going to add gold cording to this one, but I will show you two different ways, or I'll talk you through one way and I will show you the other way to add these cording bows to your project. Let me just get these off. Should we go in the center or to the lower right? Going once, going twice. Should I go to the center or the lower right? I will let you guys decide. I'm going to trim this off because it is dry now. First comment wins. All right. So So I'm just going to trim off the edges because I think this one up here is a little bit too high to not catch the envelope. Hey, Nancy, hi. All right, Rebecca got it. We're going in the lower corner. Okay, so there we go. So I'm looking for about the same space here and here. I'm just eyeballing it, but that's what I'm looking for when I put it down, not smack in the center. That's what I'm eyeballing. And then we are going to, oh, I am going to need this. So since the Mary Merlot is such a dark color, I like to put a lighter layer of cardstock inside. This still only requires one stamp if you're mailing it, so don't worry about putting an extra layer in here. The other thing that adding an extra layer does is if you are going to stamp things on the inside, again, you're only going to sacrifice that quarter if there's a problem, and you have two sides before you have to sacrifice it, which is really awesome. All right, there we go. And then we are going to add our last layer, and then we'll get our gold cord, which what I love about the gold cord is it gives you bling and a ribbon all at once. Two birds with one ribbon. There we go. Ooh, I like that. All right, I like the other one. It's way more traditional. Here's that first card, just so you can see. And what I have behind there is a glue dot, but what I have behind this one, I'm going to scooch in just a little more. There we go. What I have behind this one is regular liquid glue. I just put a dot on the back of the corded bow after I tied it, and then I used tweezers just to pinch it together until it dried, just for like 2 minutes, and then it was fine. Then on this one, I used a glue dot, and you just have to make kind of a glue dot ball out of it. And then I'll show you what to do if when you touch it, you can still feel the tack of your glue dot. So let's get to that. I know I'm going to use the glue again, but I'm going to close it up so I don't make a mess. Move these over. And I'm going to grab one piece of advice. If you do get the cording, I would highly recommend you keep the bag it comes in. It makes life a lot easier if it starts to unspool. All right, there we go. I need my 10-second bow maker. There is a link for this below the video if you are interested. It is an affiliate link, and I do appreciate you using it if this is something that you are going to need for your card making enjoyment. So we're going to wrap this around. This is one of the few items that I could actually do with just with no holes, with the pegs right together, but it really does leave no room for my fingers to maneuver, and I really don't want to do that on video. But I have made them extra tiny. All right, so we're gonna trim this off. Oh, and I grabbed a piece of window sheet, which we don't need. All right, so there is that. So now I have my cute little bow, and I'm gonna grab my spool of glue dots. And, oh, I know why I didn't go back out. That's why these are so close. Whoops, okay, and there's all my mess over on the left and right. Okay, there we go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the glue dot, and I'm just gonna kind of, I don't like to roll it around in my fingers if I can help it. I like to kind of work it around and just make it into that ball using my take your pick tool. And then I'm going to flip the bow over, and on the reverse side, I'm going to add this to the back and then pull this away. And that should leave it right in the middle there. So then all I'm going to do is take my cute little bow and smash it right there. Now you can see, because I was able to pull the whole card away with my finger, there's a little bit of glue dot that's kind of hanging around. When you put this in an envelope and mail it, when it runs through the postal, here, I'm going to talk to you for a second. When you put a card like that through the postal service and it goes through the scanner, it's going to get flattened. And if I have that kind of tack, then the envelope could stick to the card. So here is my solution. You're going to take your anti-static powder bag or the old embossing buddy, and you're just going to tap a little bit. You're going to get a little bit of powder, but then you can, I would blow it off, but I'm not going to do that to you because I think it'll make a lot of really bad noise on this. So I'm going to tap it off, and then I'm going to take a microfiber cloth and then just wipe it away. But it really is so light that just a little breath and it would all be gone. And then you can kind of futz your bow back together. But what that anti-static powder does, because it's so fine in order to be able to come out of that bag, is it just sort of sticks to the glue dot where the sticky part is, and it makes it so nothing else can ever stick there again. So that's just a little tip if you are going to be doing really small bows where the tackiness of a glue dot could get in your way. If you use liquid glue, it's going to dry completely and you don't have anything to worry about at all. All right, so this is project number 1 for today, and here is its pair from the beginning, and then this was my little nod to Florida that was sort of like it. And there is this cute friends greeting in this Christmas stamp set along with the traditional Christmas ones. You also have a season greetings, and a lot of times we don't get season greetings and Christmas in one, so I really, really liked that. All right, moving on. We are going to talk about designer series paper. I know you guys have lots of scrapbook paper and you don't use it all the time, and I encourage you to use it. And I know many of you participate in paper shares, some of you in mine, and I do appreciate that. If you're not sure what a paper share is, it's when I'm glad you enjoy your bow maker, Kathy. I just saw that. Um, uh, um, Paper share. Some of you participate in mine, but if you're not sure what that is, it's when a new catalog comes out. There are usually 10 to 15 new packages of paper, of scrapbooking paper, designer series paper, and I will create a share for you where I will order all of the patterns. I'll divide them up and send them out to 4 people so that they can get a quarter pack of every single package of designer series paper. It's just an economical way for you to get to sample all the papers. The other way that I do the paper share is that you could do a 12-inch paper share. Not all demonstrators will offer this, but what I like to do for those of you that don't want a 6x6 size, I will half a package and send that out to you. So you pay, yes, you do pay for me to ship it to you, but I order all the packages, I divide them all in half, and then you get a 12 by 12 box that comes to you with all the packages wrapped up. And whether you do the 6x6 or the 12 by 12, I always label all the packages so you know exactly what Stampin' Up! Colors are inside. So if you have any questions on a paper share, leave a comment below, but we're going to continue on with today's little workshop. All right, so this is the next card that we're going to make. And again, the encouragement is to use up your designer series paper. This is a pretty easy card, but some of the concepts you could use with just about anything. So the first concept that I recommend is if you're sending a lot, the basic white cardstock is a good card. It's a wonderful cardstock, and it's the least expensive cardstock. So this is the one I recommend for your card bases and your quarter if you are doing, more than 50 cards. I just think it's a economical way to do things. Now, for some reason, I didn't, and where'd that go? For some reason, I didn't score this, and I want to, so I'm just going to put it in my trimmer here. March over to 5.5 because this is an 11 by 4.25 sheet of cardstock. And then I'm going to fold this. It's a tiny bit off, but that's how it usually ends up. And then I can use my bone folder to burnish the score. All right, so now we have our 2 layers. And this is the one I'm going to use to decorate and we're going to open the card this way. So what I've done is I just cut one of those 6x6 sheets that you might get in a paper share down to 2 by 5.25. So I barely lost anything because I'm not putting it together right, but this is the full 6. So I only took 3/4 of an inch off the bottom, and I could always use that for something else. But I wanted to show you a way that you can make the card pop without too much effort. You can see this cute little piece of real red um, cardstock just makes a nice divider, and it's 3/8 of an inch of cardstock, so it's not much at all. So is it 3/8? No, it's 1/8 of an inch, I think. Anyway, we'll cut it. I know where I marked it. All right, so that's what we're going to do next. This is a 6" by 11" piece of cardstock. It just happened to be in my scraps, so I am going to use that. And yeah, I didn't go to the quarter. I backed it off by like 1/16. So I went up to the quarter and came back a mark, and that's how thick it is. And then this card goes together super duper fast. I'm going to go ahead and stamp first just to make sure that works. And then I'll add everything else because I know since I've already done one, I know right about where the greeting needs to be. And that just makes it easier. So I opened my Real Red ink pad. I'm going to ink up the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. And I'm going to stamp it down right here. I might have moved it. We'll see. Oh, I didn't. Okay, there we go. So have a holly jolly Christmas. Now we're going to add our designer series paper towards the top there. And even that is a pretty pattern. So you don't want a very thick layer of glue when you're working with paper. You just want enough that it's going to stay down. I like to line up my corner. And I usually hold it closer to me, but I want you to be able to see. So let me make sure. Yeah, this seems good. There we go. And then, now that's fine, but look at the difference when you just add that little stripe of red. It really does make a huge difference. It doesn't cost you anything to do this. I know y'all have scraps around. So I just put a little bit of glue at the end and I just kind of walk it down. I'm gonna move my fingers up towards that one. And I just space it because I don't want a lot. So if I end up squeezing too hard on the liquid glue, this gives me some room to spread it out. So now I have no pressure on the bottle at all. I'm just kind of using the tip to spread this out a little bit. And then I'm going to take this. It's easier for me to do vertically. And I'm going to butt it right up against that designer series paper. That's one of the reasons why I like to work with a longer strip than is necessary. Not that I centered it, but I do have room to work with it. So I can butt it up. I can hold onto it while I'm butting it up against the designer series paper. And then I'll trim it in just a second. I'm just going to let the glue set up for a second or two. I also talked either in the last week or the week before about how much I love the red rhinestones. They're a great addition to your holiday mix of products. Adds a little bit of bling to a project, and you're not. The thing I like about it is they're a color, but the whole sheet is the same color, so you really do get quite a few in one package. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and trim this off. And you can see how quickly this went together. So take a look at your papers and take a look at your scraps and see what you can marry up. The other thing which I don't know, might be a revelation for some people, and you might be saying, oh, well, yeah, no kidding. You don't have to send this exact same card to everybody. So, for example, I made close to a dozen cards last week with you, and there's a dozen people's holiday cards that are completed. I could make this card with all the patterns in a package of designer series paper. This gives me 12 strips per, right? 3, 6, no, 9, 18. I could make 18 cards from one piece of designer, 12 by 12 designer series paper using this 2" by 5¼ inch strip. That's a lot of cards. So that's why I'm saying take a look at your paper, see what you have, and consider using your holiday paper up for the holidays before they're gone. All right, let me see if there's any more questions. Sweet and simple. Yep, that's how I like it. I don't see any other questions. Oh, we got some center votes, but Rebecca got snuck in there with that lower right. Rebecca said she'd love to have the download. So if you're watching this on Team Replay, leave a comment, let me know. The download I'm offering is my top tips for mass producing cards. Thank you so much for joining me today. As I said at the top of the video, I will be out of town next week, but there will be a video on Tuesday. It's one of my most requested videos that I have been able to produce for you guys, so I hope you enjoy it. These are the cards we made and talked about today. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are new to my channel, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I post a new video. I go live on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Linda from Ink Stamp and Scrap. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have, let me bring myself back in there. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a very crafty week. Let me know how things are going with your holiday cards, and if you have any questions or concerns, please just get in touch. You can email me, Linda at Ink Stamp and Scrap, or get in touch through my website, inkstampandscrap.com. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.